Hello and welcome to Unlimited Online. For the past few weeks, we've been looking at Jesus' ministry and his miracles. Can you guess the story we'll talk about in this lesson? It's the miracle of Jesus feeding the multitude. Our passage is from John 6 1 to 15, but I found out that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all tell this story. This is the only miracle, except for the resurrection of Jesus, to be recorded in all four books of the Gospel. That must mean it's pretty important, right? Well, Jesus was like a celebrity at this time. People would seek him out and crowd around like what they'd do to a movie star or a famous sports figure, but not to get a picture or an autograph. They followed him around because Jesus was healing the sick. Back then, medicine wasn't as developed, so there were a lot more sick people with no cure. People crowded around Jesus, bringing the sick so they'll be healed too. When Jesus was on a hillside teaching a crowd of people, he asked one of his disciples where they can buy bread to feed the people. Do you know how many people there were? 5,000, only counting men. So if you counted the women and children, there could have been as many as 10,000 or possibly more. Just to give you a feeling of how many people that is, here's a stadium that seats about 10,000. And Jesus wanted to feed all these people. Now picture Jesus on a grassy hillside with lots of people all around him. I'm going to turn off my screen now because I want you to draw this scene in your mind. Imagine yourself being there too. Put yourself close enough to Jesus so you hear what he's saying. So, on a grassy hillside surrounded by a big crowd, Jesus asks a disciple named Philip, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" Philip answers, "Even if we work for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them." Then another disciple, Andrew, says, "There's a young boy here with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd?" Jesus says to his disciples, "Tell everyone to sit down." So you sit down along with everyone else. Jesus takes the bread and gives thanks to God. Then he starts giving them out with the help of his disciples. He does the same thing with the fish. You take what they give you and eat until you're full. When you look around, everyone's eating as much as they want, and there are even 12 baskets full of leftovers. Wow, I'd be blown out of my mind if I were there. Well, after seeing this miracle, people wanted to make Jesus their king. That's a great thing, right? But Jesus didn't do what the crowd wanted. Instead, he slipped away into the hills by himself. Why did he refuse to be their king? It's because the people had the wrong idea about what Jesus came to do. They wanted him to be their leader, to fight against the Romans who were ruling over them. They wanted Jesus to free them from the Romans. But Jesus came to do something even better and much more important, and that is to free them and free us from sin and death. He came to be the heavenly King so that anyone who believes in him will live forever in heaven. Now think about this. Did Jesus need the 5 small loaves of bread and 2 small fish to feed this huge crowd? No. Did Jesus need his disciples to help pass out the food? No. Jesus is God. He created the universe from nothing. He could have easily fed all of those people even if he had nothing to work with. He could have even made bread appear in everyone's pocket if he wanted to. But he still wants people to be a part in doing his work. The God of the universe wants us to partner with him in feeding people and passing out bread. That's pretty amazing. By feeding all those people, Jesus showed us that he can supply all our needs and more. Remember the leftovers? He is abundantly generous. But did you know that Jesus called himself the bread of life? In John 6:35, Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry again. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. Our spirit will never be hungry or thirsty when we take in this bread of life, and He is all we need to live forever in heaven. I pray that you'll be blessed as you memorize this verse. Your shekel activity is to read John 6, 1 through 15, and write 3 or more questions that start with the word what and can be answered by that passage. An example would be, what was the reason the people were following Jesus? Verse 2 says that they followed him because they saw his miracles of healing. Yes, please answer your own questions, and sorry, you can't use this example as your question and answer. When we believe that Jesus came to save us, and we know that God is all powerful, we can trust that He will supply all our needs both here and for all eternity. Let's live in that faith each day. May God bless you all. See you next time. Bye.